Do you guys know that exactly 4 weeks from today, we'll be starting something on the channel called Malazan? Have you heard of this? I'm sure you've heard of that by now, but let's talk about this week first. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike coming back at you with another weekly update talking about the week that was and the week that will be, kind of coming down from that Stormlight high. But let's get into it like we always do, guys. Let's talk about what am I reading. Yes, I did finish the Goliath. That is, of course, Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. I've been slowly doing spoiler reviews on the channel. I've got the first 4 parts up. I'll be doing part 5 soon. And then, of course, my standard non-spoiler review. But again, if you've been on the channel at all, you know that Stormlight Archives kind of been dominating things as a book of that girth probably would dictate. So you imagine that the coverage is going to be just as heavy. Mixed reaction on those spoiler talk vids, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But again, people are just like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Look, if you're on the Discord, if you're on social media, you probably know that I'm mixed to positive on the book, but I'll get into that more in detail. I'll urge you to, if you have read it, to check out those spoiler videos. Because if I just tell you, yes, I liked it, or yes, I didn't like it, you're going to either get the answer you want or the answer you hate. So I would urge you to check out those videos if you haven't, to kind of see why I feel the way I do, because that's why I do them. What else? I am also almost done with Kings of the Wild. This has been the perfect palate cleanser, guys. I'm about chapter 40, so I'll finish that up this weekend. It's fun. Again, I don't want to just regurgitate what I said last week. But yeah, it's as good a time as it was going along. And I feel like this is one of those fantasy books where, and this is something I feel like they've kind of fell out of recently, authors have been so involved in making sure they build the world and put as many characters into something as they can, that when you just focus on those 5 main characters, I feel like you really get attached to all of them, because everyone in the band I just absolutely love for different reasons. And anxious to see how it will end here. And I've had someone ask me about, all the classic rock references that he makes in it. Look, I'm all about the dinosaur rock. That's 70s guitar rock, in case you guys don't know what that is. I love it. But again, you don't have to know those things to enjoy this book at all. It's nice little Easter eggs, really. It makes you be like, every time you see one, but it's nothing that you need to have prior knowledge of. It's just really cool when you know that, Genelog's axe is named after the Temple of Syrinx by Rush. Things like that are really, really awesome. So again, it's just nods from the author. It's not anything that plays into the lore of that world or anything. But if you're on the fence about reading it because you're worried that you might not get the classic rock references, don't. You'll be good. As for what I'm going to read, now I think I've already told you guys this a couple times, because Rhythm of War, kind of overlapped for a couple of weekly updates here. But I'll be picking up The Talisman by Mr. King and his buddy Peter Straub there. So it'll be the first Peter Straub book I ever read, and it'll be the first time I have read The Talisman by Stephen King. I have a good story about that, which I'll get into when I do my Into the Multiverse for December, which is The Talisman. But there's a reason I haven't read it, and let's just say, long story short, it's because Dark Tower 6 pissed me off a lot. Anyway, that's a story in itself, which I will get into. But I'm looking forward to that for sure. I also had Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline on there, but I recently decided to drop it based off of some feedback. I read some reviews, heard some things from people I trust, and let's just say, no, not for me. Let me put it this way. Think of a movie or a book that you loved, right? Really, really good time. You get an unexpected sequel for it, and then that sequel comes out, and all it does is spends its time using revisionist history on its first book, or making something from that first movie seem like, that didn't actually happen that way. This is the way that it happened. So basically, this book just turns into him ruining everything that he did in that first book. So again, I'm going off here, so I haven't read it. I don't like to just trash something when I haven't read it. I'm just saying that's why I decided to drop it off of my. It just sounds like if it's going to make the first book worse, which is a book I really, really loved, I don't have any interest in reading a sequel if it's just going to, completely just raise its leg and take a squat on the previous title. So that's why I kind of dropped it. So I said, you know what? That means I've got a little bit of an opening on my schedule for this month. So I opened up a poll and said, hey, here are 4 titles that are quick little, one-offs that I could stand alone read and be okay and still make it in time for Malazan. Which do you guys prefer? Now that I talked in my monthly wrap-up video that I did about that I put a fifth option on there to just like, hey, just take a break, because I needed a fifth option. And of course, that won. But I'm not going to do that, guys. Like I said, if you didn't watch that video, I had a 1 day wait between Rhythm of War and what did I finish right before that? Tyrant's Throne. And I started reading Kings of the Wild because, look, it's my primary form of entertainment. I don't watch a lot of TV, don't play a lot of games. Yeah, it's my primary form of entertainment, so I'm not going to just like not read for a week. I know I'll say I'm going to, and then I won't. And then you know what I'll do? I'll end up starting Gardens of the Moon like a week early, and you guys will be mad at me for it. So I'm going to read the book that came in second there, which is The Martian by Andy Weir, which is awesome because it's the one that I was secretly pulling for. I've wanted to read this for a while. I planned on reading it before I watched the movie. And my wife was like, look, I'm watching the movie. Do you want to watch it with me or not? And I'm like, shit, yeah, I guess so. So I did watch the movie first, but that's fine. That doesn't mean I have no interest in the book. Obviously, I want to read the book. And I think that'll be a nice, quick little palate cleanser between The Talisman and what I got coming after that. So heard nothing but great things about it, and I can't wait to get into it because it feels like a long time coming. Let's get into this week on the channel. I just talked about it here. I did wrap up the month of November, a very, very successful month for the channel. I'm actually kind of like blown away by it's the biggest month ever in views, in watch time, and in new subscribers to the channel. So I don't know if that is a just like a permanent slingshot, or if that's just something that's temporary. You know, if that's just something you get a little bounce when you have a really popular video, and that top 10 horror books that I did was very popular. So I don't know if it's that, or maybe this is the new normal. I don't know. The channel is growing at a rate I never expected. I've tripled my goal from this year, so I just wanted to take the time out to thank the people that helped make that happen and talk about some of my more popular videos of the month. I like doing those month ends. I didn't used to do it like them very much, but I like them. I know some people were kind of iffy about the insider baseball stuff, but I like keeping guys involved with the channel. It like makes people feel like they're actually a part of it, and that's kind of the approach I like to take with the channel here. But what else? I continued my Rhythm of War spoiler talk. Now, part 3, basically, most people understood my criticisms, even if they disagreed, right? So when I did part 3, it was met mostly with, I might disagree, but I can see where you're coming from. Part 4 kind of got a lot of the people who didn't understand that being like, I don't understand how you like part 4. So they're being critical that I was more positive on part 4. Look, I think that most of the conversation's been good. It's very low, obviously lower, because, you know, not everybody has read the new book yet. It is quite a beast. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe you're taking this long. I'm like, but you know, hey, it is what it is. I feel like releasing that slowly over time has only kind of helped kind of level the feeling, because I didn't want to feel like it was nothing but Stormlight talk on the channel for like, 2 weeks straight. So I tried to kind of mix that around a little bit, and that's why I did my review for The Empire's Silence. That is the first book in the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio, and I've already had a lot of people angrily dropping me messages telling me, damn it, I made them buy another book. So that's good, because it's not just because he's a swell guy, but I will say that I would love for more people to check out his series, because I can't think of another author who deserves success more than this guy. He is an absolutely amazing writer. And I've only read one book. I can't read the next 2. They're on the schedule early next year. But yeah, I'm glad that more people are going to check that out, because if anything alone, you need to see how just amazing of a writer this man is. It's good stuff. And the fact that he is just such an awesome guy, I can't say enough about him. So I hope that you'll check out that review and check out that book. And I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, is it non-spoiler? Look, guys, everything I do on this channel now is non-spoiler, unless I blatantly put in the title, Spoiler Talk. So I know that when the channel started with Wheel of Time and First Law, I did full spoiler reviews. I haven't done those in like over a year. Everything is non-spoiler now. Sometimes in those non-spoiler reviews at the end, I'll talk for 5 minutes about spoilers, but the days of like the spoiler beat by beat, this is what happened here, and here, those are gone, man. I don't do those anymore. So I hope people will check out the more current stuff, the 2020 stuff on the channel, and see that is kind of the format that I use now. Let's talk a little bit about what I got planned for next week. I apologize. My Tyrant's Throne review kind of got bumped for Empire's Silence, just because it had been like a month since I read it, and I felt like I was going to start forgetting stuff if I didn't do that review soon. So I wanted to get that one out, and then I just kind of ran out of time. The kids just went back to school, and the teachers felt like they needed to reward them by punishing their parents with making sure they do all this homework each night. So I've been really busy with them, obviously trying to finish up Rhythm of War, make sure I got all that stuff done. So, sometimes things just slide, but you know what? I don't think that there's anybody going to be just super angry that the review's coming 3 days later than it originally planned to. That should be up Monday or Tuesday at the latest. I'm going to do my Rhythm of War Part 5. Spoiler talk will be the end, and which will end with me talking about my overall thoughts of the book, probably. I finished the book since I did my Part 4 video, obviously, and I have lots of thoughts. So that's the first one that I haven't recorded. See, the other ones I recorded immediately after I finished to get down those fresh thoughts. This one I've had a few days to think about it, so maybe my opinion, I don't know. I'll find out when I press record on the camera. I'll find out what happens. You never know sometimes until this happens. I'll also be probably getting up my book haul for the month, which isn't quite as vast as last month's, but it's always something that's fun to talk about. I feel like it starts a lot of conversation about book series I haven't started yet, and I always appreciate hearing feedback from some of you about that. Let's get into a little bit of non-book stuff here, guys. Do got some TV and movie talk things. I know I keep beating this drum about Warner Brothers. And the fact that when it happened, I had about 24 people tag me on Twitter and be like, hey, Mike, they listen to you. I have been saying for months now that Warner Brothers is run by idiots. Well, they've basically taken that step into canceling theaters because not only is Dune and Wonder Woman now going to be straight to HBO Max and the theater on the same day, every movie they had planned for 2021, I think that's Matrix 4, that's King Kong versus Godzilla, things like that, all are coming straight to HBO Max on the same day, but still getting the theatrical releases. What did I say months ago, guys? Release it on streaming, put it in the theaters for people who feel like they want to take a chance and go and see the movie. That's the best option going forward. Me, like I said, I will wear a still suit to go see Dune in the theater. I am experiencing that bad boy in IMAX, okay? That's happening. Everything else? Yeah, sure. I'd love to just sit here and watch it at home, not have to hear everybody's loud-ass kids behind me in the movie theater. That'd be great. So, again, Warner Brothers, day late, dollar short, but you know what? At least they're doing it, and I feel like this is the first major studio to do this, and I wonder now if it's going to make Marvel start to really think about putting some of that stuff out in Disney Plus or doing, a simultaneous release at the same time. I don't know. Disney pretty much is the top dog at the movie theaters right now as far as ticket sales go, so they can kind of do what they want, but, everyone else is kind of being like, yeah, this is kind of seems like it's going to be the way that it's going to be. Again, guys, it's Warner Brothers. What can you do? I wish they had made this decision before they decided to delay Dune for a full year. But, hey, is what it is, right? A couple of TV things here. The Expanse did get renewed for a 6th season ahead of the season 5 debut here in a couple of weeks. And I was like, yay, this is awesome. I love it. I feel like they're finally going to get a chance to have all 9 books adapted. Literally minutes after I said that, they announced that 6th season would be the final season. Now, first I was upset. Then a lot of people who have read that far in the books, because I don't know if I've told you or not, but I'm not reading ahead of the show because I like to keep those surprises. The way that book 6 ends, you could end the series on. It's something that they could do really good for TV. So I'm a little okay with that. Cass Anvar, the gentleman who plays Alex on the show, just wonderful. Apparently he got in some legal trouble and he will not be on season 6, so that's a big bummer. Because I feel like his character is amazing, but stay out of trouble, man. That's all I can say. But hey, it's been a great run. We thought we weren't going to get any more after season 3. We're going to end up getting 3 more seasons after that. I'm extremely happy, and at least now they know. And since Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank both work on writing for the TV show, that's James S.A. Corey. That's the team that writes The Expanse. I feel like since they know, they'll be able to write a satisfying conclusion to the show instead of just being like, well, we don't know, so we're going to kind of leave it open-ended. So I wish more studios would do that. So good on Amazon for doing that. And, as much as I hate that it's not going to get the entire thing adapted, I am grateful that Jeff Bezos busted out the pocketbook. I mean, he can afford it. And he gave us, 3 more years of The Expanse. So that's why I'll never complain about the price of Prime shipping going up every month, every year. So I'm happy that we're going to get more Expanse. Vikings is getting its final season. They put out their final trailer, final 10 episodes. I guess it's season 6B, so it's the final half of the season. The trailer looks awesome. Look, if when I talked about this on the Discord, so many people just jumped in there. I haven't watched Vikings since Blank happened. You know what Blank is if you've watched the show. Hey, good for you. I still love the show. I think it struggled a little bit to find its way after Blank happened, but I still think it's awesome television. It's got some amazing characters. It's got some amazing acting. The set pieces are top notch. I don't know what else to say, guys. I am excited that it's going to be on Amazon Prime Video instead of a History Channel this year, at least at first. But hey, that's one less problem for me, not having to wait until buy those off video on demand on Hulu all the time. So that's a really cool thing. Don't know what the deal is with that, but again, the trailer looks awesome. I'm excited to see how this series concludes. If you just can't get on board with Vikings, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm sorry. Vikings and The Expanse and Last Kingdom. That's like my 3 favorite shows on right now. So I hope you guys will check those out. I know most of you have checked out The Mandalorian. Now, look, I'm not going to get too much into spoilers on what's happened this season, but just know that there was a big name drop. Now, if you follow Star Wars at all, you know who Grand Admiral Thrawn is. So we've acknowledged that Grand Admiral Thrawn is around during this time period, right? Not a big shocker. If you've watched Rebels, you know this. Now, look, I love the original Thrawn trilogy. I've talked about it on the channel. I love that trilogy so much. I love the Star Wars EU so much. So I didn't care really for the version of Thrawn that they put on Rebels, which takes place in the new Disney canon. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't give it a chance. It's just, it seemed like almost like someone in cosplay who had never read the original trilogy. That's kind of how it felt. I don't care if Timothy Zahn was the one writing it. It didn't feel the same. It felt like you were saying, hey, rewrite that character, but now you got to stick within these limits that we give you. And I felt like it suffered for it in the books and on Rebels. So, if he ends up showing up on The Mandalorian, I mean, would it be neat? Yeah. Would it be awesome if Mara Jade showed up? I'm like, yeah, of course it would. It's just, I have a feeling it's just not going to be the same, though. Kind of like when Thrawn showed up on Rebels. It just wasn't the same. So if it does happen, the wish I've had for years now is if they wouldn't. They first said, we're going to do a Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy. And I thought, they're going to do the Thrawn trilogy. I really thought that when it first happened, yes. And I said, hey, I really hope they can get Benedict Cumberbatch to play Thrawn. I think he'd be great. Still sticking by that. He's already under the Disney banner as Doctor Strange, so I'm hoping, hey, make a little phone call there, Favreau. You got some stroke. I'll be like, hey, Benedict, why don't you come over here for a couple days and play this character? We're going to paint you up real blue and give you some red contacts. You'll be good. You'll be great. I think he'd be awesome. That would be a terrific pick. So that's my hopes if that happened. Guys, I don't have any gaming talk this week. Cyberpunk comes out in a week. So there's that. Other than that, I don't have a lot to talk about. But I do want to talk about a musical thing here for a second. Talk about some music is something my 8-year-old has been real interested in lately, is asking me, hey, Dad, who do you think the best blank is? And he's been asking me, who do you think the best guitar player is? So I've been playing them YouTube videos of some of my favorite guitar players, Eddie Van Halen, some of my favorites ever. And the one that he keeps gravitating towards is Zakk Wylde from, Black Label Society, formerly with Ozzy Osbourne. And it was a kind of a crazy thing. I've been a huge Zakk Wylde fan since the No Rest for the Wicked album came out by Ozzy. It was a time where it was like, look, after Randy Rhoads died, you had Jake E. Lee, and he was good, but he wasn't quite Randy. And then Zakk came out with his sound, and I loved what he brought to Ozzy. So when he went solo, and I became just a huge fan of Black Label Society. He was so huge, in fact, that, do you guys remember that game Guitar Hero or Rock Band that we used to play years ago? It was just really popular for a while because it became like the party game. Well, this is how much of a Zakk Wylde fan I am. The Guitar Hero guitar is actually a Zakk Wylde guitar. I got the skin for it. Yes, I pulled this. I mean, you can probably see the dust on it. I pulled this thing out of the attic just to show you guys. But it's really cool that the reason he said Zakk Wylde is his favorite guitar player is because he said the guitar looks cool. I mean, how am I to argue with that? He goes between this one and Eddie Van Halen's Red with the White Stripes guitar, you know which one I'm talking about, as his favorite guitar player because the guitar is cool. Not because of what they're playing, but because the guitar is cool. And also, he said Zakk Wylde looks like Thor. So, of course, it's his favorite, right? So, it's real fun teaching your kids about classic rock. But here's the thing. That led me down a rabbit hole myself. Been listening to nothing but Zakk era Ozzy. And, of course, some Black Label Society this week. That's kind of what I've been up to. Been kind of also dipping back into some Zeppelin and the Beatles because that's my 1A, 1B when it comes to bands. So, fun week talking about music. I think sometimes I get so used to listening to podcasts and stuff, I forget to listen to some good music. So, always fun to do that. So, guys, how was your week? What are you playing? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Let me know in the comments and I'll talk to you guys there. Have a great weekend.